Have you ever watched somebody do something and suddenly realize you've been doing it wrong your whole life? It involves me, but it was actually my best friend. She sold me, because I insisted she take money, her lawnmower. It was the kind where the grass catcher hung on the outside body of the mower. If you are familiar with those, you know that there is a very small opening at the body of the mower and a much wider side where you empty the grass. So she's sitting on my porch while I mow. I go to empty the grass bag when she says, and her voice is noticeably dead, "What are you doing?" She didn't know about the flap you could pull back at the wide end to dump the grass. She had been sticking her hand up the small end, pulling the grass out in clumps, and cursing the design for years. This, for her entire adult life up until that moment. She felt bad taking my $25 because she thought it was a piece of crap design. But I got an awesome mower for $25 that lasted me for the next 10 years. This is depressing and funny at the same time. Must have took her ages to get all the grass into the bags. One day after work during the winter, everyone was scraping ice off their vehicles. One guy did his pretty quickly and I didn't know how. I looked at my ice scraper and thought, why does the backside have ridges? My life changed from that point on. My dad moves to the store with my mom's shopping list one day, comes back and makes fun of her for misspelling a simple word, fruit. See, my mom spelled it, fruit. My dad on the other hand was positive it was spelled fruit as it was simpler, made more sense, and it's how it's spelled on the Fruit Loops box. He promptly learned he was wrong, and so began my mom making him take spelling tests she'd give the third graders in her class each week. He started scoring well below average, but by the end of the year was getting A's and B's. LOL. I love that he took the tests. What a good sport. I love omelets. They're in my top 5 foods. I started making them when I was around 9 years old. I always made them by mixing the eggs, cheese, meats, and vegetables in a bowl and then throwing it all on the skillet. Of course I'd have problems. It wasn't cheesy enough. The meat wasn't hot. The spinach was too spinached. But I lived with it, because that's how I thought you did it. Fast forward 9 years and I'm at college in the omelet line. The cook threw my mushrooms, bacon, and spinach into the oiled pan and let them saute for a bit. I was confused. Where was the egg? The cheese? My question was answered when they added pre-broken eggs into the pan and 3 cheese on top. Mind blown. I had been doing it wrong the whole time. I usually start with the omelette and end with scrambled eggs. Inspiration for this: I saw my 11-year-old have a moment of realization when I asked him to slow down when he said migraines. Found out he was saying mind grains. My sister said umbrella till she was like 12, you know, because you get under it. I realized one day that there is a gas tank cap holder on the fuel door when the person in front of me used it. I was amazed and have made it my duty to put on a show every time I fill up to inform others. I had the opposite happen a few days ago when I was over at my Bosnian neighbor's house and she is peeling an avocado with a potato peeler. As a Bosnian, can confirm, we don't have avocados in Bosnia. Just kinda looked up pee, got a boner, and then after a while went back to whatever I was doing. Didn't realize there was more to it till I was 18. My nephew would stand in the bathroom and hold it, then jump up and down over and over again. Luckily they lived on the first floor of an apartment, so no unlucky neighbors below, but you could still hear the thumping in the kitchen and other rooms once they figured out what he was doing in there. My brother-in-law suggested, you could just move your hand. I learned how to type on my own as a kid with access to my dad's computer, so I could type fast, but never realized it was weird to hit the caps lock button before and after the letter I wanted to capitalize instead of holding down the shift button. My ex pointed out how weird it was when he saw me typing like that. I used to have a boss that would have caps lock on permanently and hold down shift when he wanted a lowercase letter, so he mostly just held shift down. It was insane. We tried so many times to show him why it was not the most efficient way, but he kept on doing it. Holding a fork. Until I turned 17-18 I always held a fork like a barbarian, so I was told. It wasn't until my girlfriend made fun of me and showed me her proper ways that I learned the correct way. The first time I picked up a scalpel in the OR as a medical student, the resident gently told me, hold it like a pencil, not your dong. Not exactly after watching someone else, but I always pulled my pants down to my feet when taking a pee. One day when I was maybe 16 or 17, someone asked me why the frick I did that when taking a pee in a public place, and I didn't have a good response. Saw a friend at summer camp clasp her bra on the front of her body before turning it around to the back while I was blindly fiddling with my hands behind my back like a dingus. I saw a BuzzFeed quiz that showed a minority of women do that. I've always been taught to do that. I swear most other women must have stupidly itchy arms. I just realized the other day, at 29, that the reason I always cut myself take forever to shave my legs is that I haven't been tilting my hand so the razor head is flat flush against my skin. I've been shaving since I was 13. I still feel pretty stupid about it. Using a staple remover, I thought I had to unfold each prong on the back, then pull the staple out from the front, until I watched someone just pinch the staple out from the front. That device suddenly made a lot more sense in that moment, and I had to wonder how many people saw me use it so inefficiently over the years without saying anything. I didn't have to remove a lot of staples in my youth, okay? I called it an unstapler until I was like 15, and I still slip up occasionally unless I think about it. I'm pretty well read and have been since I was young, but for some reason I always thought there were two different but similar words: epitome, pronounced how it is, and epitome. I figured I had just never seen the former spelled out in the wild, guessing it would look similar to epiphany or something like that. I used to always squeeze the remainder of the toothpaste toward the opening with my fingers, which always left some in the tube until I saw my friend hold the tube down tightly against the edge of the bathroom counter and slide it all toward the opening in the most satisfyingly efficient way, and now I use all of the toothpaste. I always said play it by ear instead of play it by ear, until I was 20 and my brother said, "Are you saying it play it by ear?" I tried to defend myself and say it's play it by ear because you decide what you're doing at the time. But now I know the error of my ways. Hey, don't worry about it now, it's water under the fridge at this point. My sister was driving us somewhere and asked me to grab something from the glove department and I laughed for like 5 minutes. I thought the words to the song Smooth Operator were actually Sube Operator. My mom let me sing that crap all the time. I used to think the onions in McDonald's hamburgers were rice until I was 13. Still don't have a good excuse for this one. In your defense, those McDonald's freeze-dried little onion bits don't really look much like onions. My wife's family were amazed when I easily got ice out of their ice cube tray by twisting it lightly a couple times to loosen the ice. They all had been banging the whole tray upside down on the counter their whole lives. I thought it was pay-per-view, not pay-per-view, until seeing it written out literally yesterday. I'm 19 years old, FML. I thought it was super salad, nor soup or salad. In computer science, we were doing a project concerning zodiac signs. I kept typing, system out println, liberal, until the girl next to me asked me what my sign was and laughed when I responded with liberal. She thought I was joking, but I really wasn't. I guess that makes me a conservative. I watched a Mokauka peel a banana by pinching the bottom and splitting it neatly up the middle. She then used a stem as a handle. I've never looked back since. My brother taught me to do it like that. Said that's how monkeys apes do it. It's awesome, but I have to pick away the bananas, the little hard lump on the top of the banana, or my kids won't eat the banana if I peel that way. Top of the open banana. The actual bottom of the banana. The opposite of the stalk side. Sorry for being confusing. Saying the word soldier. I thought it was pronounced soldier. Nobody misunderstood me when I said it and was never corrected. Then in a public speaking class in my second year of university, we were doing tongue twisters and we had to say shoulder soldier repeatedly as fast as we could. I found it really easy. The teacher assistant told me that I was doing it wrong. He started correcting me and told me it was pronounced soldier. I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. I thought it was a joke or that he was an idiot. I started to stupidly argue it and my friends took my side, but they thought I was kidding. The professor came and asked me if I was serious and then showed me clips of people saying the word soldier. I have now learned to use the word correctly and can't believe that nobody had corrected me beforehand. Okay. Here's my confession. Glad it will be buried deep down, so it's not that embarrassing. Up until the age of 12 I always thought that all siblings had their birthday on the same day. We have always celebrated my brother's and my birthday on the same day, because he was born 6 years apart from me on the same day. It had always made sense in a way. Tying my shoes. I tie each of the bunny ears separately so the end product is like 2 knots tied together in a big frick up of a knot that seems to become untied every 10 minutes. Oh well, I've been doing it for the past 20 years of my life and it's too late to learn how to change this habit, fumbling around trying to tie my shoes around people, otherwise they'll think I still don't know how to tie my shoes like a 3-year-old. Dude, it's in this thread. Google the TED Talk about tying your shoes. I learned at the tender age of 28. You can do it. It's amazing. I have never had them come undone. I found out that the small nipple-like thingy under your rear mirror isn't for adjusting it. It's for dimming the mirror if somebody behind you has their high beams on. The last time I was visiting relatives in the south, I saw my uncle put tortilla chips on a cold cut sandwich. And here I was thinking lettuce was the only way to get that nice crunch. Potato chips on a tuna fish sandwich is something everybody should try. A couple years before high school I learned the term wife beater for those white tank tops. I always thought it was pronounced white beater, just from how fast everyone says it. That's what it sounded like. I thought tank tops were tank tops for years, until I was a teenager and typed it online or something. Ugh, I'm embarrassed. Striking a match. I used to drag it along the abrasive strip, resulting in less strikes and more broken matches. I saw a monkey do it the cool Johnny Cash stabbing method and realized. I'm late, but it happened at work the other day. It was actually my boss though. Another girl came back from her break, and my boss goes, "Welcome back, corporate," and salutes her. My other boss, along with the rest of us, just stare at him. He thought that the rank corporal was called corporate. Oh god. I watched a friend talk to a girl like she was a person he was interested in getting to know, and realized how stupid the whole "hey, here's a pickup line" I heard works on girls' approaches. I realized I drummed my fingers backwards. Most people start pinky first and let the rest of their fingers fall. I start index first and have to raise then lower the rest of my fingers. Whoa, I just tried doing it the other way round and it's really hard. Just discovered this week that after you purchase green onion and use some, you stick it into some water, you'd be surprised how much it grows. Almost an endless supply now. You can do the same for celery too. I only recently learned that instead of coring an apple sliced in half with a knife, a process that has gotten my clumsy hands cut too many times, you can just carve it out with a spoon. Same goes for peeling ginger. I learned this about kiwis and felt like such a dumbest. Don't try to peel a kiwi, just cut it in half and eat with a spoon. Frick, I did try it with the skin. It's not for me. Well, I didn't exactly watch them, but apparently I'm the only one of my friends who stands up and bends over to wipe my butt. I had no idea some people sat down and sort of leaned over to do it. Also, I wiped back to front, which also apparently makes me a freak. In high school I was complaining to a friend about how hard it was to get Pop-Tarts out of the toaster. She looked at me strangely and said, "Why don't you put them in long side up so that when they pop up you don't have to reach inside the toaster?" Brilliant. I am one of those idiots. Can someone explain to me what the AC buttons are for in a car? There are two related to defrosting, but I have no clue which one it is. One looks like a fan and the other has stripes. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But the fan one blows air on your front windshield to defrost or defog, and the stripe one heats those black stripes on your back windshield to melt the ice. I didn't watch someone else do it, but I was in a toilet stall and went to put down a paper seat cover. On the dispenser there was a diagram of how to put the seat cover down. I realized the flap is supposed to be in the front instead of the back. I was in my mid-30s before I realized I had been wrong. Still didn't change my ways, but at least I'm wiser. I am in my mid-30s and have never used a toilet seat cover. Friend had to clean kitchen before he could go outside. He flipped the toaster over the trash can. I had to tell you could just pull the tray out. I never learned to hold scissors correctly until my wife saw me holding them and was confused as to why all my fingers were shoved into the thumb hole and my thumb in the big hole. My teachers just never thought to correct me since it worked. But I'm also the dumbass who thought markers and lipstick were the same. I was hanging out with my friend a few weeks ago on acid, and when we were coming down we had a couple beers. She goes, "This is such a cute little artichoke on the label. This guy? I'm pretty sure it's hops. You know, like what the beer is made of, haha. Comma, are you telling me that all these beer labels have hops on them and I thought they were artichokes this whole time? Comma, are you fricking with me right now?" It was a hilariously confusing exchange. For the longest time, I thought that I had an aunt named Tunella. Turns out she's not my aunt but just my mom's friend, and her name is Antonella. I called vanilla folders thinking it was to do with the color. I was corrected when I was in university when somebody called me out on it. Those bladeless can openers. I am a college educated man with a decent mind for engineering, and I had no clue on this green earth how to use that bastard for a straight 15 minutes until I was shown. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.